In this video, we're going to be talking about the 9 biggest myths of Seattle, Washington. So stay tuned. What's up, everybody? This is Jackson Bray Wilkie with the Real Agent Now group right here in Seattle, Washington. If this is your first time to this channel and you want to learn everything about working, eating, sleeping, living, playing, and the 9 myths of Seattle, make sure you tap that subscribe button and click the little bell so you're notified every time I do a new video. We are really enjoying this YouTube channel, making all these videos and helping so many people move and relocate to Seattle. If you are thinking of moving, relocating anywhere around here, make sure you reach out to us and give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even send the Seahawk. However you want to get a hold of us, we got your back when moving to Seattle, Washington. All right, so this one's really fun. We do get a ton of random comments and reach outs, and people that we're actually helping here, and they ask these questions a lot. So I really jot a bunch of them down, and I got 9 of literally the most asked questions, the biggest myths, and some of them are true, but I'm going to ease them up a little bit for you. But literally, here are the top 9 myths of Seattle, Washington. You cannot start this list without talking about the weather and the rain. How much does it rain in Seattle? Well, it does not rain here every day. We literally get questions from people or comments on our channel that say, dude, it literally rains there 10 to 11 months out of the year. It rains every day. It's gray. You're going to go pale white and you're going to die. Literally, that is how far some people take it. I've lived in the Northwest my whole life, in the Seattle area. Yes, it rains. We know it rains, but that's why it's so beautiful. But if you actually want to know how much it rains, well, I did a full video on it you can watch, but 152 days a year on average is how much it rains. In those 152 days, a 0.01 inch, 0.01, that is considered a day of rain. So a lot of the days what you're seeing is you wake up to some raindrops and some moisture on the windshield of your car or out on the street. Like, that is a day of rain. So yes, you do see 150 days of rain, but the majority of it, I'm being 100% honest, you won't even really notice it. Or it's going to be a sprinkle throughout the day, maybe a couple of them. But the absolute downright pouring is just not really existent here. You do see it every once in a while, but it's just not as common. So when it looks into the actual national average, we get about 35 inches of rain a year. The national average, about 35 inches of rain. So we don't get any more accumulation. We just get more days of rain. But New York is not known for rain. They actually get about 60 inches of rain. So they get like double the amount of rain we do. It just comes down really heavy when it does. So that goes right into number 9. And people always say you need to take vitamin D and live in a tanning bed because you just go pale white and it is cloudy every day. So number 9 is the clouds. Yes, there are some gray days. That's something that happens here too. But when it breaks, and it does frequently, even during the day, here's one thing. This is true. A lot of our clients, maybe relocating here from California or sunnier areas, they will literally tell me, it's not near as bad as I thought. Like, yeah, it'll be rainy and cloudy in the morning, but it always seems to break. And then you get these just gorgeous sunny days. Like, that's what we're really used to seeing. And then you will just break. Like, we had actually the wettest January ever. Kind of the whole Northwest did. So literally, I'm talking about rain and clouds, and we came off one of the wettest Januaries we've seen in years. That's a good thing, though. It fills our reservoirs, our aquifers. It actually loads the mountains with snowpack, which keeps the rivers high. Salmon runs. All of that stuff is really good. But yes, it was pretty rainy. And then all of a sudden it breaks out, and you get 2 straight weeks of the mid 50s, low 60s, sunny days. You get thousands, tens of thousands of people out. They're super active. That's what the Northwest style living is. Even on those rainy, colder days, you're out enjoying it. But when that sun breaks, it is literally worth it. It's the best ever. But yes, it is cloudy, but it's not every single day. In fact, basically throughout the entire summer, late spring, early fall, you're going to get some of the most pristine days ever. All right, so number 8 on the list is traffic. I do want to mention that traffic here is bad. But if you do not have to go during the rush hour, or you're going to be living right next to where you're working, or you're going to be commuting on public transportation, it really isn't as bad. But here's the thing about the Seattle traffic. We are landlocked. You have Lake Washington, Lake Sammamish. You have these little fingers of land, and you basically have one freeway that goes down through Seattle. So if you're going during rush hour, it's going to take you a long time. maybe 10, 15 miles could take you over an hour. It's pretty brutal. If you can wait till that 9, 9:30, 10, like it really eases up. From those times all the way until about 2, 2:30, you can really get where you need to be, but it's those serious rush hour times that makes it brutal. Now that's one thing that we help with. If you are moving, I don't care where, Kirkland, Bellevue, Redmond, Issaquah, like anywhere in the Seattle metro where we work, and we need to figure out why you're moving here, where you're moving, and we're going to eliminate those drive times. But yes, if you are going to be driving during the rush hour, it's bad. Now let's talk about the parking real quick, because on the Seattle side, like downtown, west side, it's going to be pretty brutal. You have really hilly streets. It's tight parking, tight roads. It's kind of expensive, and you do have to pay. Whereas the east side, like Bellevue, it's all free parking over there. The town center over there with the giant mall, there's 200 plus shops over there, and it's all free parking. There's a lot of covered parking, so that's one of the big differences. There are, parking passes and that kind of stuff too, but if you're going to be living in an area, maybe up even in like the Ballards and the Fremonts, there's some really cool new construction and condos if you're not living in a house that have garages for your vehicle. So those are things that we need to work out too when you reach out. So number 7 is the cost of living. Are we the new California? Well, absolutely not, because if you look at some of those top high-end markets over there, the LAs, the San Franciscos, those are going to be the ones that really mirror us when it comes to how much you make, the jobs here. So the average median home in San Francisco is over $1.3 to $1.4 million. Here in the Seattle metro, we are at, the 700,000, mid 700s or so. So yeah, there's a wide range, but when you look at the actual median home price compared to those, it's not nearly as expensive. But if you're moving from the Midwest or something like that, yeah, it's going to be quite a bit more expensive. We're definitely way more expensive than the national average. Again, we're really landlocked. There's a lot of water, and any of that lake living all around those lakes and on the Puget Sound, some of those houses are 10, 15, 20 million dollars. So that really rises our costs. So I've done some videos on, affordable neighborhoods, and you can really, stretch that dollar out and find some more affordability. But you got to realize that some of that lake living and beautiful golf course living and all the athletes building these giant mansions is jacking that price up as well. I don't want to sugarcoat it because we are expensive, but let's talk about, healthcare and electricity utilities. Those were actually below the national average. Obviously, we have so much water here and hydroelectricity. Our utility bills are actually lower than the national average, and healthcare costs as well are lower than the national average. But the home prices, rent prices, they're going to nip you. So the number 6 myth is the whole place liberals. Look, I'm not going to get into politics. I ain't going to touch it with a 10-foot stick. It doesn't matter which side you choose. The one thing I do want to say, I've talked about this in other videos, is that there's so many people migrating and moving in here with different beliefs, a lot of cultural diversity, that it's just not as prevalent as you see. Yes, if you talk about all of the hipsters and liberals, is it here? Heck yeah. I mean, it's just kind of everywhere. And they're not going to bombard you. Are there times when there's, marches and pickets outside and stuff? Yeah, but it's not everywhere. They're not attacking the city and stuff. I live, I'm a family man. I got 3 kiddos. I love the outdoors. I'm a hunter. I'm a fisherman. And I do not get, messed with or bothered by being that, belief system. But again, I'm not going to go down that road. I just want you to know that, especially with all the new people coming here, it's just not as liberal as you think. And there are a lot of other, families of people out here who don't have those beliefs as well. But if you do believe in it and you are, of that liberal type, you're going to have a lot of people to mesh with too. I'm just kind of the guy who stays out of it and just has a lot of fun, but it's not nearly as bad as you would think. So number 5 is that marijuana is everywhere because it's legal. Well, the one thing about the marijuana, yes, it is legal, but you won't see it outside all day long. It actually has to be in the confines of your house. You can't just go walking around smoking, sparking up. Are you going to see it here and there? Yeah. Are you going to smell it here and there? Yep. It kind of gets to the point though, now that, I've been around it so long and it's legal, you just don't even really notice it. Yeah, you have pot shops and stuff everywhere, and they're usually right next to a taco stand or something, but it's just not really something that I even worry about anymore. And it's actually a pro and a con. If you're for legalized marijuana, you don't have to hide it anymore. You can go down and get whatever you want. Hit the Maui Wowie if you need to. So literally, yes, there is marijuana here. I just don't want you to think that literally everybody smokes it and it's just a giant cloud of weed here. And so number 4 kind of goes into that thing we were talking about a little bit earlier, and it's the hipsters. Yes, this actually has one of the biggest populations of hipsters, but they aren't everywhere. Again, this is like you kind of got to wrap your brain around this. There are huge, groups of these hipsters, and it's just a lifestyle here, man. It's just kind of really cool how they do that. I'm all for being what you want to be, doing what you want to do, and if like the hipster lifestyle, liberal lifestyle is what you're looking for, you could definitely find it here. But at the same time, I kind of got to play the reverse side of things that it isn't really my style. I have some friends and, I talk to people all the time who doesn't bother me at all. You can literally have either one of the lifestyles and either side's not going to bug the other one as long as you're not stepping on people's toes. All right, so this is something that I get in the comments all the time. The next big myth is the Seattle freeze, they call it. So this is where every Seattleite is just terrible. They're mean, they're cold-shouldered, they ain't going to talk to you. Man, I couldn't, at least in my perspective, they couldn't be any more wrong. The Northwest is one of the most friendly places ever. Now, I've lived in the South before, and those people are definitely inviting and very fun. You got to get into those families, though. I mean, once you get into those, you are tight with them, and it's great. The Northwest is definitely more open to just the random conversations. Again, I am not only talking about myself, but a lot of our clients who come from out of state. That is literally what they say every time. I couldn't believe it. I was in a restaurant, I was in a coffee shop, I was in a bar, and like this person next to me started talking to me. That person just sparked a conversation. Everybody here is so friendly. So yeah, I mean, it gets a bad rap, and are you going to find it? Yeah, there's nowhere in the world you won't find it. But I would say, especially again with all the diversity and people moving here and groups, you find these commonalities, and everybody's just trying to figure out other people. So if you get the true Seattleites who don't want anybody moving here, they're going to be pretty cold-shouldered to you. But other than that, you're really going to find some nice people. You're going to meet a lot of really cool people. And that goes to mention, if you are into a group, if you're into things, hobbies, look those up. There's groups for literally everything. And that's going to get you with a lot of the people who kind of are in the same boat or thinking as you are. All right, last but not least, this one's kind of a tough one, but it is the homeless, the bums here. Are they everywhere? Look, Seattle actually has one of the highest populations of the homeless. It's unfortunate. I feel bad. You do see them, especially, down by the water. There's a lot of the tent cities and stuff, but they aren't everywhere. They stick to themselves as long as you're not bugging them and all that. But yes, we have such a mild climate, and I know it rains and it's cloudy, but at the same time, it never gets way too cold and it never gets way too hot. So they kind of have this mild climate. And what you're seeing is actually a lot of money by the city. So again, I don't want to get into this, but there is a lot of money from Seattle getting poured into trying to help them, give them places to go, more shelters, all of that. It's definitely a hot topic, but at the same time, where I get the myths and what I want to debunk is that they are everywhere, crawling everywhere. The town is like burning down. It's not like that. They're going to be congregated mainly by freeways, any of the public transportation. That's where you're going to see a lot of them. By on-ramps, they're going to have their signs, but that's just collectively where they are. Even in some of the nicer neighborhoods, if the I-90 cuts right through it, you're going to see them close to those as well. So the farther you are away from that, you won't see it as much, although it does put you farther from the freeway. But yes, there are homeless people here. It's not something that's going to change in the next day or two. It's something that's going to be a long process, but I want you to know they are here, but they aren't just crawling everywhere. They're not just going to be taking over the city anytime soon. So those are the 9 biggest myths, or I guess most things that are asked to us. But yes, if you are moving, relocating anywhere in Seattle, I don't care where you're coming in the Seattle metro, make sure you reach out to us and so that we can help you move, relocate here. And in order to do that, you got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even send us that Seahawk, baby. However you want to get a hold of us, we get your back with moving to Seattle, Washington.